This is a hard one. To be honest, all these videos really has been hard when it comes to this because, you know, when we was talking about Loli, yeah, I went out as far as to be like, it's not bad because it's Loli, it's whatever. Because we discussed many things when it comes to it. To the point, I think a lot of people, if they were to understand it, a lot of people would probably be like, okay, that's fine. But also, when we were talking about, T-Con, that's a bit more of a gray area too, because you don't necessarily know what is kind of okay with that, but also, since it is 2D, it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, it's like, that's still kind of like, like it's kind of hard to give that a straight black and white answer. And honestly, you don't even see T-Con a lot in the anime, which is why you don't really get that, and why you only get Loli. Like, people hate Loli, but T-Con is much worse, and people don't seem to realize that, or probably even know T-Con exists. So, I'd rather take some Loli than take some T-Con. That is me. But then there's also one other side of the spectrum, which is, I think, the last side of the spectrum that we haven't talked about, which I think needs to be covered. And I kind of held off from doing this because I didn't know exactly where my stance would be with this one, which is 3D. And I'm not meaning like real life, obviously. I'm meaning like three-dimensional rendered characters digitally made in computers and stuff, 3D modeling. So the task of this video is definitely not going to be easy. So what's good, everybody? It's your boy Jason Vikes here, and yeah, we're gonna be talking about the 3D version of Loli. Again, not talking about real life. We're talking about the computer version, like your characters that you see in video games and stuff that may have a 3D model, those type of things. And pretty much when it comes to those 3D Loli versions of characters, you have to first think about what type of models and what type of characters art style are we talking about here, because there's plenty of 3D model characters. You have stuff like Koikatsu 3D modeling, you have like other Blender 3D modeling, you have SFM 3D modeling, you got like Unreal Engine type of 3D modeling. You got different types of shaders and different types of engines that you can use to make 3D models with. And each and every different thing that you have has a certain way of how you make a character. And so it's not really a straight answer just right off the bat when it comes to what type of engine you use to make such a character. So to just break it down a little bit more easier, I'm gonna just go over some of those models and some of those characters from different games, just so I can make this statement of what I'm trying to get on here pretty much more easier than I am, because I'm actually just sweating trying to figure this out. So let's take someone like Ellie from The Last of Us Part 1, because no one wants Part 2. But if you were to take her, obviously you would know that she looks like a real person. She looks real, even though she's not. She's still a 3D video game character that will never exist in real life ever. So it kind of begs the question, is this okay? Well, that's kind of a gray area. I mean, yes, it is, because technically she's not real, but at the same time she does look really realistic. So you can't, it's kind of up to you whether you go for that type of content or not. Now obviously I can't show anything related to that because YouTube is going to shut me down pretty quickly. It's already having hard enough time not differentiating what's real and what's not between Mortal Kombat and their violence versus real violence. So it's going to be a very difficult time to put that picture up or put some type of video up of Ellie going through some action. So I obviously won't, but you'll probably see like the in-game version of her. But if you take a model like something out of Koikatsu, which obviously looks fake and obviously is 3D rendered in a 3D model, you can tell, oh, this is just fake, this is just an anime type of thing, it is nothing really too serious. Even if it is like a Loli character, it doesn't really matter, because guess what, they don't look any type of realistic. So you have different types of things so there's different types of models that you can create when it comes to anything really in a 3D computer space. But it kind of, so just saying that oh, all 3D lollies are bad, or all 3D lollies cannot be, used in such Jentai material, it's kind of hard to say that because, you can make whatever model you like, whether it's realistic or not. So that's kind of the hard question. And personally for me, I don't really care much for the actual like 3D realistic looking versions of the lolly characters. Now we talking about like, 3D rendered characters that look, fake as all hell, like you can obviously tell that this is not a real person. Those are fine. I don't mind those. Because you have to think about it, wait, is stuff like what Great Mate makes, like, bad? Because, even though it is 3D rendered, it's still technically lolly characters in a way, even though they're not real lollies because they're a lot more mature than a regular lolly. But still, they're pretty much, high school students. So does that mean that it's kind of not okay, even though they're 3D rendered and obviously fake? That's the kind of questions you have to go in and kind of answer when you look at this type of material. And to me, if it's not looking realistic, then I would say it's fine. But then you also have that other side of the spectrum. But hey, it is realistic looking. However, it is a fictional character and it's never going to be real. So is that alright? And again, it goes back into that gray area. So it's kind of hard to differentiate, what is right and what is wrong here in this sort of sense. So it's not really easy to give you a straight up yes, this is right and no, this is false answer. It's not really easy. And again, this is the reason why I had to hold up on making this video a long time ago, because it's not simply an answer that you can just find. And because let's say you use someone like Sherry from Resident Evil and compare it to, and I can't believe I'm bringing this up because I never liked this game or really know anything about this game too much except for the horrible disturbing memes. Team Fortress's Olivia Mann, because let's be honest. So you've probably seen a lot of content between these two, going around on the internet. And personally for me, I will be more down to see more stuff of Olivia before I go see something of Sherry. Yeah, Sherry is a fictional character, she doesn't exist in real life, and never will. However, she looks a little too realistic for my taste, and that is the reason why I probably wouldn't go for that. So I'm gonna watch me some Olivia content and probably, try to get some Olivia myself. So that's how I would personally view it my way. So to be perfectly honest, I would say it comes down to your preference and what is too much for you when it comes to the 3D computer generated version of this. Because, you can go down the realistic looking ish routes, but at the same time, it's kind of weird. And then but you can obviously go down the 3D version routes of, not looking realistic. And you can obviously tell it's an animated character, so, and that's completely fine. So personally for me, I would say I would go down the Great Mate type of route, the unrealistic 3D model type of routes. Because even when it comes to like characters like in Genshin, because the person that still made all them Genshin Loos I keep putting in these videos, they still make stuff. They made one of Sayu just recently where she just does you and then rob you. Like, I never felt that disrespected in a Jentai before. So there is definitely parts and pieces to this entire thing that you have to kind of consider when you go look through this type of material. And you have to obviously kind of think about, is this really something that you want to consume? And you kind of have to just use your own judgment and your own preference and what you think is acceptable to you. Because again, you can say you can fap to whatever version of these models that you like. However, one's gonna look a little bit more dangerous than the other, in my personal stance on that. So definitely, and to be more perfectly honest, it will be very hard to defend the realistic version 3D model computer generated version than it would be to defend the 3D not so realistic version. So it's a very hard battle. But that's on in 3D, in the whole 3D computer part is the whole reason why I didn't want to bring it in, because even with it just being 3D itself, someone could easily say, oh, that it causes some problem. So that is obviously why I stick to 2D mostly. But sometimes, 3D do have some stuff when it comes to the unrealistic side, so I do be looking through there. But majority of the time, 2D animated pictures or animated videos is where I'm usually gonna stay at. And I'll probably never really cross over to the 3D side unless it's like Olivia or someone else that's not realistic looking, but again at the same time, it's down to personal preference, so do what you like. Again, hopefully you understand, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on Twitter to tap me and like to donate to the channel. Patreon and my personal PayPal is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.
Baby, say my name as if you got a fucking clue. Always caught up in the moment, not condoning what I do. I've been messing with my chemistry to find the better me, putting thoughts up on the page in hopes that you could get to me. Been this way since legit, my brain couldn't quit. Running from my issues, roll the pain in a spliff, fade away every hit. Nobody needed me, too afraid to commit.